Hey, happy Friday, everybody. What's going on? Welcome in. I figured I'd make a little video from our lagoon since I talk about it so much in our neighborhood. Wanted to talk to everyone a little bit about what I see on the internet where people are mad about people posting their gross sales numbers like, oh, I did 100,000 in 90 days, or showing off their cars, their houses, their life, and like people saying, show us the real numbers, show us the net profit, show us the actual breakdown, the fees, the shipping, the cost of goods, all that sort of stuff. And look, I have three things I want to discuss about this. And number one is stop paying attention to what everyone else is doing. You only have to compete with yourself. Just do better than what numbers you had last week, last month, last year, whatever the case might be. Don't worry about what other people do. You don't know their background, or if mommy gave them $1 million to invest in capital, or if they spent $1 million and only sold 900,000. You have no idea what somebody else's numbers and story is. So only worry about yourself, number one. Number two is that everyone has a different breakdown. Some people make 20% profit, some people make 40, some people make 60, 80. It just depends on what items they're buying. It depends on what platforms they're using, what cost of goods they have, what fees, what shipping materials, how big are the items, how small are the items, i.e. what it costs for them to ship them, not ship them. Maybe they do local pickup, maybe they do only local marketplaces. Again, you don't know. There's so many variables in what people buy and sell that the percentages are different. So your percentage of 60% might be different from someone else's 40%. So never, ever worry about the percentages of that. Now, the third thing is what everyone really wants to hear, I would imagine. And it is true. If you're gonna post your numbers, or you're gonna be somebody who's on social media and takes the time to kind of inspire people, because some of these posts are motivational and inspirational, right? Like they want to say like, hey, you can do it. Some of them are bragging and showing off, and some of them are just lies. But at the end of the day, if you're going to post something like that, if you're going to be somebody who participates in that, then yeah, it is a really good idea for you to break it down for everyone. Let everyone see. It doesn't mean, I think a lot of people are scared if they post their numbers like, oh, I did 10 grand in sales this month, but I only made, 4,500 in profit. They're going to look like a lesser person, or they're not going to look like they're so successful. Look, people just want to know the story. They just want to know, what does that actually amount to? And it's not so they can, talk down to you or make you feel like a lesser seller or person. It's so that they can actually understand, what does it take to hit these numbers, based on what other people are doing. You don't have to tell them what you sell or what your niche is or what your exact category is. But if you're going to show the numbers, at least tell people what the breakdown was. None of us care whether you made 50,000 or 100,000 or $1 million last year. We're not even going to remember your name most of the time on social media or YouTube, unless it's somebody that you watch constantly. We're not going to remember that a day later, an hour later, or a week later, who knows? But if you're going to post that sort of stuff, or if you're going to see that sort of stuff, it's fair to ask questions like, how much was the profit? How much was the cost of goods? And if you're the person that posted it and didn't include those numbers, don't get offended by that. Just include, tell people, be honest, because we're supposed to be here to help each other. And so whenever you see my numbers, you'll see, if I did 400 grand last year, that my social media did 150,000 at 100% profit, and that my sales did 250 at 50% profit. And so those were worth 125 to me, plus the 150, I made 275 for the year, 250 for the year, or whatever it amounts to. And I go as far, I don't expect everyone to do this, but I go as far as to, you guys know, I post my 1099s on my YouTube videos, my actual tax returns, what I send the IRS that's legitimate, how much I pay them, what the gross sales were. And under the gross sales, it shows my expenses, my reported expenses, and what was left over. So I've got no problem showing you guys that, because I don't have anything to hide, and I don't care. I don't care if I made 150, 250, or 350 this year, as long as I'm making enough to pay my bills and continue to do what I have to do. So anybody that's posting that, don't get discouraged by it. If you see it, don't get offended if you're the postee. None of that stuff. Just help each other out and show the numbers, tell the real story, and just know that a lot of people watching you are taking these numbers to heart and trying to duplicate or replicate them. They shouldn't be, but they are. And they would like the full story and the honesty, so that they can really have a realistic outlook on what they have to do in order to be successful. So that's kind of my little Friday rant and my little Friday motivational speech to you guys. Appreciate you guys watching. This is where I live. This is my backyard. It's a man-made lagoon inside of a neighborhood that I live in. We just come down here. Sometimes we have beverages, and you can swim. Water's a little cold right now. It's almost winter time even here in Florida. But if you're ever in town, hit me up, Epperson Lagoon, Crystal Lagoons, and let's just a little look around at what's in my backyard, including the bar, the resistance. What is that called? I don't know. Anyways, cheers guys. Happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. And I'll see you next time.